Hey guys, we finally moved all the tropical plants, fruit trees out of the greenhouse and outside, and they all look like they're doing great. It did take us a little while. We had to use our Kubota tractor because the pots are so big and heavy with soil. We had to put them on the bucket and then did multiple trips of driving back and forth from the greenhouse to this area. We laid down fabric because I didn't really want to have to weed eat through the pots and then potentially ruin the pots. So we decided to just clear a pathway, put down fabric down here, and then put the pots over top of it. And this is where they're going to be for probably the remainder of the year until frost. And then, of course, we will move it back into the greenhouse. So these are just little pots that I need to up-pot. These are the Ruby Supreme Guava in pots from seedling. I got a tropical hibiscus, not hardy, so it won't last. Coleus does not last. And this here begins the first. This is the avocado. We lost all the blooms on it, so I don't expect to have anything this year. But next year, hopefully we can come up with a better system to get it to pollinate while it's in the greenhouse, and then hopefully when we transplant it out here, it will bear some fruit for us. But right now I think all the avocados are only going to leaf for us, so we'll see. And then Myers lemon, bougainvillea, bay leaves. I really like bay leaves in cooking, so I wanted to grow some. They're not very hardy. They can go up to zone... Actually, they can go down to zone 8, but if you don't mulch it very well, it will die. I did have one previously and it died. So this one we had put it in the greenhouse. Seedling that I got, and this is... I can't remember the tree. I'll have to put the name up there if I remember. But it's really pretty, red flowering. This is a lychee. It did flower, but unfortunately it dropped all of its bud. This is the, let me see, where's the tag? This is the sweetheart lychee. It is smaller and more compact than the Mauritius lychee, which is all the way over here behind this guava. Sorry, it's not zooming in. So here's the first pot, second pot, it's in the third pot back there. So I'll go over there really quickly. Got some more Meyer lemon cuttings. This is the dwarf banana. They're doing good. They're coming up from when I planted them. Cuttings of dragon fruit. I've got to get them into a different pot. You can see the soil retains too much moisture for the dragon fruit, so you can see it's having issues, fungal issues. And over here, especially in the greenhouse, it's got holes in it, things like that. So I need to get it cleaned up, get it in a different pot. So, excuse me. That was unexpected. I think I swallowed a little gnat or a bug. Excuse me. Banana. And this is the Cavendish dwarf banana. I got it because, of course, it needs to stay in a pot, and I don't want it to be like 10 feet tall. So hopefully it will flower. This is the one where I thought was going to die because the root system on it, it kept getting really like moldy, and you can see here it's still having some effect of it. For some reason, it never really dried up in the greenhouse. It was too much moisture and it couldn't handle it. So I'm just going to remove this a little bit. And I thought it was going to die. So I cleaned up the root ball a little bit and just kind of lay it in the pot. And you can see it looks like it's fine. It's rooting through and it's sitting off new shoots and producing new growth. So it's happy the way it is. Potentially, since the soil is too moist, it's better to have it sit on top of the soil, I guess, and then it'll root in when it needs to. I had it all the way to almost here, right here. And you could see it rotted and split and everything. So Now it seems happy, so I'm going to leave it and see what it does. This here is the Glen mango. It's doing great. It's kind of leaning sideways, but I would like to repot this into a bigger pot. You can see it's flushing out, which is great. It did flower in the greenhouse, but unfortunately, a cold snap pretty much took all of the flowering buds. So I went in and I pruned it really hard down there. And you can see here, these are all new growth within the past, I would say like 2 or 3 months while it was in the greenhouse. Same with over here. So every single stem basically lost its flowering. So I had to cut back and it's flushing out. It's doing great. This here is the Thai Guava. This one does not have any bud on it or flowers, but this one has a whole bunch of buds on it that is pushing out. So we'll see how they do. They were not my favorite last year just because they were too crunchy. I don't know, they weren't as sweet and they were extremely crunchy to the point to where it almost hurts your mouth when you're chewing on it. So I'm not sure about these ones. I might just keep one just to say I have a different variety and then chalk the other one up because I do need more pots. After this, I guess, little showing, what I would like to do is pot up this June plum. It grew great last year and it grew out of its pot, went into the ground, so I had to cut off the base of the pot here, and then I just stuck it in the dirt just like that in the greenhouse. So now I really need to pot it up. And I put the passion fruit vine on top of it. Didn't realize how vigorous the passion fruit vine is, and honestly it went through the pot. These are the passion fruit vine roots. So it'll be interesting to see when I untangle the root system, and hopefully I can get it done soon. This June plum has not pushed out any kind of flower or fruit as of yet. The other two I have, which is the same variety. There's only one variety that I know of, that is the June plum. It has actually produced flowers and setting fruit already. So this one, maybe because the bottom's cut out and it hasn't really rooted in, it's doing that. Oops. I just knocked out this one. I think this one I was trying to root, which I'm not sure why I am, because I have so many of them that I need to still get in the ground. But I think as a gardener, we try to stick everything into the ground and hope that it roots. This is a caimito from seed. I am super excited to see if it will grow, and not only will it grow, but will it produce fruit for me. It seems like caimito is a harder plant to produce fruit, so I'm not sure. We'll see, but it is probably my all-time most favorite tropical fruit. And they are very expensive to get here in the U.S. So you got to spend quite a bit of money just to grab some of those fruit. I usually order mine from Laura's Farm in Florida. And I get like, I think 5 or 7 fruit for almost like $100. Which is insane if you think about it. But I guess it's the demand. So he always runs out. So we'll see how it goes. This is, of course, a papaya, a dwarf variety. It was suffering really badly, but it looks like it's doing well now and pushing out new growth. I expect it to get some fruit this year, so we'll see. Jackfruit from seedling. I had massive issue with them in the greenhouse. A mouse was in there. Several, I think, mouse were in there. And for some reason, the sap is really sweet, so they all went after my jackfruit seedlings. Another Meyer lemon. Another Meyer lemon. This one is producing quite well. I've got 2 over here in the ground. And then I've got some over here. This here is a snake fruit that I purchased on Etsy. It seems to be doing great. Sending up a new little flower. Well, not flower, but a branch, whatever you call it. Leaf, node. I don't expect it to fruit I think they said it takes a long time to fruit, and it looks like I just got a little wee one, so maybe a couple years, but my husband loves it, so I thought I would try my hand at growing it. Rose of Sharon cutting, another Meyer lemon, Rose of Sharon cutting. I am not sure what this is. It's a cutting of some kind of citrus fruit. Haven't seen any fruit on it to really know what it is, so we'll see. Strachinelli from cutting. And this here is an orange. I'm not sure if I'm going to say the name correctly. It's the Shiramu orange I got on Etsy through a nursery. And it is grafted. It does have a couple of little baby fruit. There's one here and one here. I'm torn whether I should pinch it back and let it grow another year, because the rootstock doesn't, the rootstock seems a little aged, but the stem itself, if it's a cutting, it should already be mature, so I don't need to, but I'm kind of leery to see if I should just let the fruit drops and let it sit for one more year or let it grow, so we'll see. Another one or two, this is jackfruit. See how they come up and they ate the tip of it, and then actually quite a few of them, they came in and they chewed the bark off right there. That's where the sap comes from. So this one is still alive. You can see there's this little green node right there. So I'm letting it push through, just like this one. And this one is a jackfruit. You can see it's a jackfruit. I'm not sure if that's a J and a G. I'm not sure the writing on it, but I did purchase a jackfruit. I really, really, really want a jackfruit to bear fruit, to enjoy a fresh jackfruit from my own tree. And I've tried many times, but the cold either gets to them or some kind of rodents gets to them. So this year, I'm hoping to take really good care of this one. So this one and this one I bought on Etsy from the same nursery. A jackfruit and an orange tree. So we'll see if they will survive. I think it's another Meyer lemon. Passion fruit vines, cutting, as well as seedlings for the Ruby Supreme Guava. Some more dragon fruit cutting. Some more seedling for Ruby Supreme Guava that I've got to pot up. I think I have officially ran out of pot. And honestly, I can't really up pot them into these big pots because there's not enough room in the greenhouse. I almost need one of those like nursery size greenhouse. So I already talked about that one. This one is a Mexican avocado. This one actually retained a little bit of its flowering bud still. Like here's a couple. So I'm hoping and I'm wishing and I'm praying that maybe these will set, because we're finally outside and they can get some pollination. Here's one or two more hopefully right there. But for the most part, it did drop all of its flowers. Now it's just pushing green. It's looking somewhat healthy. There was issue with humidity in there, and there was no way for me to vent it out. So next year we'll do a better job of that. This here is also an avocado. It did drop all of its flower. I was trying to see if maybe there was one or two more. So it did drop all of its flower, and it's just pushing out new growth. This is Avocado Fantastic. I don't know because I've never tasted it, but that's the name of it, so we'll see. And more Ruby Supreme Guava from seedling. I doubt they'll produce this year, and if they do, I might pinch it back just because they're still pretty young. They're only 1 full year, I think, into the ground, because I did the seedling probably last spring. Put it in the ground and potted up. Another banana. This one I also thought was on the verge of dying as well, because you can see here, look at what kind of issue it had in that greenhouse. So much water it retained, and it basically just rotted out. I'm not sure how to go in and cut this off, but we'll try to figure something out. You could see it had so much issue in there, and I thought for sure it was going to die, but it actually survived. and not only survived but pushed another baby that we'll have to cut off. I tried, okay, so this little thing here, when I was pruning back the guava, I just took some of the tip and stuck it into the potting soil to see if I could root it. Success rate is not great. It's like probably 1 out of every, probably like 30 or 40 that I did. But this one seems like it took. It's giving some resistance to pull. Not that I really need anymore, so I'll pull it up just so you guys can see if it actually rooted. So yeah, it looks like it rooted. It grew some roots to the side. Oop, can you see that? Here. So you can root it from a cutting. But I have so many other ones, I'm really not sure if I should even bother. Now, the only good thing about cuttings is you're taking it from a mother plant. So it actually will produce fruit that same year. Whereas seedlings may take a year or two to be vigorous enough to produce. But I've noticed that with guava, they seem to be pretty vigorous. So they don't seem to have any problems. This dragon fruit, we tried. My first year attempt, we tried and wasn't very successful. And it's like all messy. It's like the monster of strings of spikes. I don't really know how to describe it, but I'm gonna just basically leave it alone because I do have some other ones that are better situated, and just to see if this will actually bear fruit. If it doesn't, I might scratch it. We'll see. Another, I think this is a Ruby Supreme guava. It's flowering out, pushing out. So I'm hoping we'll get some fruit soon, at least some sets. This is the June plum, one of the two that I have, this one and that one over there. This one, you can see it's setting up all these new growth and buds. This one over here is flowering already. And you can see the little green balls is the actual fruit setting. So it's actually got quite a few. I had to pinch back some in the greenhouse just because it was stressing from the humidity. It had these spots on its trunk, and if you watch the other video, you can see it. This one I actually need to come in and cut. This one completely died all the way. This was the main stem right here, and you can see from there it produced 4 new growth spurts. So I'll come in, probably remove this, and then just let it continue to keep growing. Seems to be doing good, setting some fruits. So with June plum, they can literally flower and fruit itself to death. So if you want better fruit or healthier plants, you would go in and basically remove some of its flowering stems so that it doesn't produce so much fruit. But it will keep on producing as long as it gets enough food, fertilizer, good condition. See this one here? This one broke. Well, it didn't break. It died back as well. And then from the base, it's sending up all these new shoots. They're actually crossing over, so I need to get in there and contain it. But it's setting fruit, so that's really exciting. So those are June plum. Another guava. This one is Egyptian guava. It's supposed to be big, white, I believe, and it's supposed to be as sweet, if not sweeter, than the Ruby Supreme, but we will see. I don't see any buds on it at this point in time, so I'm not sure if it will set fruit, but I would expect it to set fruit. This one I got from Logi's greenhouse, or Logi's nursery, I think. And they have really good stuff too. This is a pomegranate. It's doing great. I am hoping that this year, since it's looking pretty healthy, that it will grow some fruit this year for me. We haven't had any pomegranate this year. I do have 3 in the landscape that was supposed to be cold hardy, which this year it went through it and it survived, but the previous year a couple of them died. It wasn't hardy enough, I guess. But this one here, I want to make sure that I had a pomegranate that survived, so I put this one in the greenhouse. And it's pushing out new leaves. It's doing great. I think I need to come in and prune back some of the dead, dying branches and only keep the tall one. We just had a major, massive rainstorm last night, so everything's kind of flopped over. Surprisingly enough, nothing fell over, so the pots are doing good. I think I skipped this section part. Some more seedling for Ruby Supreme. Another different variety of passion fruit. Those passion fruit over there is the smaller variety that you see that turns purple. This one here is supposed to be the huge, big, giant one that almost looks like a papaya size. So we'll see if that is really true. And you guys, this is the massive pineapple that I've been growing since last year. And look. Isn't that awesome? That's like the most exciting thing as a gardener, to see your fruit grow and develop and flourish. Now, the only thing I was really amazed at, and I don't know if you all have any experience growing pineapple, I successfully grew a pineapple. It was small, but it was the sweetest pineapple, so tasty, and not as acidic as the one you get in the store. This one, we waited forever, and I thought perhaps it's just one that's never going to fruit for us, and it finally fruited. But look, this one, ouch. Okay, so the stems or leaf on them, if you ever grown them, have these serrated edges. And if you go this way, that way, this way, it doesn't hurt as bad. But if you go the other way, it's literally sharp razor. So this one was kind of hard to move because trying to grab the pot when everything sticks at you was very difficult. But, sorry, getting sidetracked. It is flowering. See at the base right there? It has these purple blooms that it's sending out. So I've never seen a pineapple flower before. So, I don't know. That's kind of unique, kind of interesting. Very beautiful to look at. But it is a beast of a plant to grow. I mean, here's the pot. It's already big as it is. And then it's like triple the size of the pot all the way around. So you can see the real estate it takes to grow this massive pineapple. I mean, that's why it's best to grow in the ground, so you have more space. But I'm going to see, once it fruits, we're going to just let it grow new pups, and then from the pups I'll use to grow more fruit. But I'm not sure. Whatever this variety it is, it's taking up too much real estate space. I need it to be smaller. And maybe it will stay smaller if I had put it in a smaller pot. You know how generally things grow depending on the size you give them. Like if you put it in the ground, it's going to grow to its maturity and its size. But if you restrict its growth, it tends to stay smaller. Not in the case of this pineapple, so we'll see. Now I do have other pineapples. I did a video on them, how to separate the pups. These are from the pups of the other ones, and they're growing. This one looks like it's doing almost the same thing, but it's not getting as big because I gave it such a small real estate in this tiny little, not even full-size gallon pot. So it's staying in its size, whereas this one is a beast. A couple empty pots that I get to use. I have a pineapple here. This is another pup that I rooted. So I'm going to transplant it somewhere else so I can use this pot for bigger plants. Okay, we're going to go. And it's one more row. This is an orange. I'm not sure the variety of the orange. It was a cutting from a while ago, I believe, and it has matured and grown. Citrus tends to grow really fast. This here is my mother plant of all mother plant for the Meyer lemon. I have taken cutting from her. She has bare fruit. She has been through it all and coming out on top. Looks like she's setting up new growth, so hopefully the springtime we'll get some flowering and then some more fruit. I was trying to root another cutting here. I'm not sure if it's taken. Nope, that one hasn't taken. So usually when I prune things back, I just stick things into the pot and see if it'll root. If I really, really want to give it good condition to root in, I wouldn't just stick it in the pot. I would use better medium. But sometimes I get lazy and I just stick it in the pot. And once it roots, I just pull it up, kind of like how I did the guava, and then pot it in another pot. That way it takes less real estate when you don't have that much space. This is the Ruby Supreme Guava. Last year produced an abundant amount of guavas and fruits. Unfortunately, we were gone for 2 weeks and no rain. And it kind of stressed it out and it dropped quite a bit of its fruit. So this year we're going to monitor it a little bit more, make sure it gets its nutrients, water, and food, and then we'll hope to have a bumper of a crop this year. I believe this is another, I want to say it's a Thai guava. Very upright in habit, very large. It's probably about 8 feet. I need to prune it back. I don't want to get it any bigger than that. This here is the lychee. It's been doing great. This is the lychee Mauritius. It's actually has grown quite a bit. Let me go on this side. And it actually fruited in, well, it set flower and set fruit in the greenhouse, but unfortunately it dropped all of its fruit. You can see here, this is where the flower and fruit was, but it dropped it all. I'm not sure why. So we'll see. Hopefully it'll still continuously send up some more stuff since it is early spring. And then last but not least is the papaya. This papaya, both of them, well, this one looks a little bit more stressed. I'm not sure what's going on with it. It looked healthy in the greenhouse, but here it doesn't look as healthy. And then we go on this side so you're not into the sun. See how the leaves are curling up? I'm not sure why that is the case. Maybe too much water. I have to investigate a little bit more, but it's got some fruit. These have been on since, January, I think. December, January. They've gotten a little bit bigger, but not too big to the point to where I can actually harvest them. But they're still hanging on. They haven't dropped, so that's a good thing. This one seems to be doing great. It has four fruit around it with more flowers growing up. So hopefully with being out in here with all the wind and natural rain and sunlight, all these tropical fruits and plants will do great. All right, everybody, I think that sums up my tropical food forest. Looks like they did well in the greenhouse. The greenhouse did its job. Main purpose was to keep everything alive. And I only lost a couple things. But overall, everything seemed to have survived. So that's a great thing to know that it's working. And then this coming fall time, we'll work on ventilation. That seems to be the key to hopefully keep the stress. And then some way to keep the flowers pollinated, I guess, over winter. So that way we can have some stuff in the springtime. That is it for this greenhouse, I guess, tropical fruit tree tour. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.